Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel Pretty in Paper by B, where we are all about sharing the joy of pretty papers. Now we are into November, which means, if you haven't already, it's time to start thinking about Christmas. So I thought I'd start the month off with a brand new iris folding pattern, some holly leaves, and we're going to make a greetings card just like this one. Everything you need is in the box down below, so gather your supplies, get comfy, and let's get crafting.
As you can see, I've got all my supplies out ready for today's session. Now the first thing I've done is I've just cut up the Holly Leaves pattern PDF into the separate pieces. And the first piece that you're going to need is this card template. Now we're not going to be making the square card that this template's for today, so I'm just going to cut around the holly leaves following the solid black line. But I want you to make sure you leave the two leaves connected. So just leave a strip of paper between the two. Once you've cut your holly leaves out ready, I want you to position these in the centre of your piece of card, maybe slightly towards the top of the piece of card, just so we've got space to add a greetings underneath. Then draw around the outside of your holly leaves following the edge of your template, so you've got a pencil mark on your piece of card. Once you've got your pencil mark, you can use this to cut out your holly leaves aperture. So grab a craft knife and your cutting mat, place your piece of card over the top, make sure you've got it nice and steady, and then use your craft knife following your pencil line to cut out the holly leaves, ready for some iris folding. Now that you've got your holly leaf aperture ready, remove the centre pieces, because you're not going to need these, you just need the holly leaf shapes. Okay, so move your craft knife and your cutting mat to one side, you're not going to need these anymore, and then grab the holly leaf iris folding pattern from your PDF download. Once you've got this, use a couple of pieces of blue tack to secure it to the table, and this just stops it moving throughout the iris folding process to make sure our strips stay in the right place. Once you've got this stuck to the table, you're going to repeat this process with a couple of pieces of blue tack, but with your card aperture. Place them on the front of your card base, and then stick your card base over the top of your pattern so you can see all the numbers and lines through the middle. Perfect. Okay, now it's time to think about your pretty papers. So as you can see from the pattern guide, we're using 4 different pretty papers today, and I've got these out at the top of my screen. So with each of these pretty papers, you need to cut a couple of paper strips, approximately 2 centimetres wide of each paper. Now that you've got your paper strips ready, grab a strip of your paper colour A and fold over an edge of about 7mm wide, just enough so you've got a nice crease in your paper strip. Now with the folded edge facing towards the centre of your holly leaf, cut a section large enough to cover number 1 on your iris folding pattern. Now you might need to trim this strip a little bit narrower just to make sure it's not overlapping into that second holly leaf. Line up with the line on the number 1 on the pattern and use a couple of pieces of sticky tape to secure in place. Now I'm sure you've noticed that there is also a number 1 on the holly leaf on the right. So all of the patterns are mirrored on this design. So after you've placed the number 1 on your left holly leaf, place strip number 1 on your right holly leaf and follow this sequence as you move throughout the iris folding pattern, mirroring each of your paper strips that you've used. And just make sure that no sticky tape is overlapping your holly leaf window. Otherwise you will see this on the other side. So keep following around your iris folding pattern, alternating between your paper strips using your pattern guide. once you've placed the final strip of your pretty papers, it's time to cover the hole in the middle, also known as the iris. So cut a section of glitter card large enough to cover both of the holes in the centre. So you'll need a couple of small pieces for this. Then place the glitter card face down over the hole and secure in place with a couple of pieces of sticky tape. And do this on both holly leaves. Just add a nice bit of sparkle to your card. Once you've secured your glitter card in place, turn over and reveal your holly leaves. Now they're looking pretty cute, aren't they? Okay, now time to cover the back of the messy iris folding. Grab some foam sticky pads and place these around the edge of your card base. Start with the corners and then place them about every 4 or 5 centimetres. Once these are in place, peel the backs off and you can mount to your card base. Now for the card base, I've just scored and folded in half the square piece of card that we started with today. So I'm just going to turn over these holly leaves and stick in the centre of my card base. So you should have a nice border around the edge, just like that. Okay, so now we've got our holly leaves stuck in place, it's time to add some finishing touches. So I've cut out 3 circles of red glitter card to use as a few holly berries. And I'm just going to apply these with my tweezers and some PVA glue. Now that our holly berries are in place, I've cut out a little Christmas time sentiment to stick to the front of the card. Now I've used the font Story of Christmas on the Silhouette Design Store for this one and some gold glitter card to add a little bit of shine to the front of my design. So I'm just going to apply these to the card with a little bit of glue and my tweezers. Now the words are in place, I'm just going to finish this card off with a gold border. So I've got these kind of mirror gold peel off stickers that are just going to tie in nicely with the gold card that I've used. And I'm going to place them, oh they're a little bit fiddly, I'm going to place them around the edge leaving a little white border and just trim the ends of the strips off. I'm really struggling with these nails, aren't I? Hopefully you guys will find this bit a little bit easier than me. Once you've finished placing all your peel off strips, then I think we're about done here. So there you have it, an iris folding holly Christmas greetings card. Now I hope you've enjoyed today's video guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments. See you soon.